Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
The Globe, part 3, slots and comps. If you've been watching the rest of this series, which I hope you have, you're gonna know all about the base math we're talking about. I'm gonna tell you something pretty interesting in this session about your player's card and when not to use it. I said that. I said there's gonna be a time in slots comps where you don't wanna use your player's card. Who's this? Who's this guy? But I'm telling you, it's working. I'm gonna tell you that at the end of this thing because we got a lot to go over in the meantime. Also, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe right there. Hit that thumbs up button. Help me out. Help my channel out. Help me grow. I'm really trying to get over 1,000 users and especially trying to get there by G2E in October. And if you haven't checked out, that meet and greet we have is getting huge. We just added 3 new slot channels to it, including Casanova slots, Firehouse slots, and Old School slots is coming all the way from the East Coast. That means it's the whole entire East Coast trio of NJ Slot Guy, Top Dollar Mike, and Old School slots. Pretty cool. I'm excited. Back to our video. Back to what the comps are. All right. So slots are similar to table games in the sense that the base equation, our total wager times the house edge. In slots case, they say hold percent. It's the same thing, but they say hold percent. So total wager times hold percent with your number of hands an hour, number of spins an hour, number of rolls an hour. Well, in slots, that low number is 400 spins an hour and the high number is 700 spins an hour. And that's going to equal out to your base comp fraction that then gets multiplied down with our percentage. But we're not going to go into all that math because we already did for table games. You guys can do it by now by yourselves. If not, go check out part 2. It's got all the equations built in there and you can see them all. Okay. Slots. We got our money in. Coin in is extremely important for slots. Let's just say, for instance, we put in $1,000 on a slot machine. Now let's say, for instance, we lose it all. Our coin in on that slot machine is $1,000. Here's another scenario. We put $1,000 into a slot machine. We win $5,000. What's our total coin in? It's still $1,000. The casino doesn't care we won. They don't care if we lost. That's it. They don't care. They don't care if we win or lose. They're making money over time. They know that. They're in the long haul. Vegas just reported a huge earnings of $3 billion this last quarter. So Vegas is doing fine. They're going to keep on earning their money. They don't need you to win. They need you to lose. We've already established that. But they don't care whether you win or lose because they care about you coming back and winning or losing more, most likely losing more. So our coin in is still $1,000. All right. Now we're going to get into more coin in at the end of this when I tell you about player's card. But right now we're always using our player's card. I'm only going to tell you the one time where you don't use your player's card. Otherwise, always using player's card. Super important. So when our comps are figured on slots, it goes a little more technical than table games. Table games have set percentages. They have set house advantages. The house advantage at roulette is 5.5%, 5.3% wherever you go. That math doesn't change. The set advantage on craps, 1.4%. That's pretty much universal wherever you go. Same with blackjack. Slots are a little different. Let's just say, for instance, we're playing on a bank of 4 slot machines. The published numbers for those hold percentages, what they hold back, isn't published anywhere. Only what the return to player is the only thing required to be published. The hold percentages aren't. So that's a huge thing right there. So I could be sitting at a slot machine and it could be a 97% return to player. Think about 97%. However, I can move to another slot machine and it have a hold percent of 7%, meaning percent return is 93%. I could move to a machine on the other side of me and it could be even lower. Now, in Nevada, your set limits are set. They're legally set. You can't go X number of lower. However, there are some places where can go much lower. In Louisiana and many riverboats, You're lucky if you find an 80% slot machine. In Vegas, finding a 90% slot machine is pretty common, but in riverboats, an 80% may not really happen that much. Now we're going to go with cruise ships. Cruise ships can be down to, if you're lucky, 70%. Sometimes it could be even lower than that. Tribal casinos generally are in the better pay range, believe it or not. You can actually look that information up over at Cowboy Slots on his ropethejackpot.com. He's got a great thing. It tells you all the tribal casinos in the country. It's a great link, great resource. With that, you can actually research on finding out what return to player is. You can't find the exact whole percent per machine, but you can get an idea. So the house advantage hold percent in slots can vary from slot to slot. That makes it extremely difficult and so many scenarios to try to put in with equations. So that's why I'm not doing it above like I usually do. So when we're playing on a slot machine, you're kind of at the whim of the casino on what they have done in order to maximize their profits of the varying types of paybacks. Now, if you're lucky, you find a bank of machines that says 97%, 98%, 99.9%. That's awesome. That must mean if I put $100 in there, I'm only losing 10 cents. No, that's not what that means. It means over the life of the machine, however long that is, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, it's already set in the software of how long that machine is. Millions of spins to get to that where it evens all out. And until the meantime, you're going to have highs and lows. Sometimes it's going to pay back here. Sometimes it's going to pay back up here. But over the course of its life, it will pay back 99.9%. But that's the course of its life. That doesn't include the however much money you put into it trying to win. Okay? Because that's just math. That's just how slot machines are made to be profitable. It's over the course of the machine. So you're going to have points where it's hot and you're going to have points where it's cold. But over the life of it, over the averages, it's going to be the same percentage no matter what. So you might have a machine that's paying back 120% at one given time, but that same machine later on may only be paying back 90%. So that's really, remember, odds over time. Okay, over time, we're going to flat line. Okay, so our little tips and tricks for slots. Not really little tips and tricks, but the advice for slot. Churn. Churn in slot machines is huge. Give you an idea what churn is. We're going to use a little bit smaller scale, which is $100. You put $100 in a slot machine. You spin, we're going to say we're at a $1 slot machine playing 2 credits a spin, 5 credits equals $10. We're down to $90. On that last spin of $90, we win $20. So now we're up to $110. Let's just say, for instance, we cash out and take $100 out. We still leave $10 in the machine. And we run that $10 through. Our churn is $20. We've walked away with $100, but our churn is $20. But wait a minute. My coin in is $100, but my churn's $20. Because you have put $100 in, lost $10, won $20, lost $20. Or sorry, won $20, lost $20. So yeah. So it's important to keep that in mind about the churn. So when you think about table games as I have started with this amount, my ups and downs might be a little different. In slots, your ups and downs are your churn because you're recycling that money back. And that is a huge thing on how you can maximize slot comps is the churn. Even if you are winning big and you, let's say you first spin, you win $300. Bam, we're up to $300. Now you're going to play until you're down to $200 with a total profit of $300. See how that worked? You didn't lose any money. You gained all that money from the casino. That original money you put in is gone. However, your profit is still that $300 win. And your churn is the number of spins it took you to get to 300, which in our case was one spin. So it cost us $2. And then the $100 that we played down. So we had $398. And then you pull that $98 down to zero. your $300 profit, $102 for churn. So those are things to keep in mind about your play. The other thing to keep in mind are bonus times. Many casinos will do bonus points. They'll do a 2x month, a 5x weekend. Caesars is big about 5x weekends, and they'll do it during their slower times of the year. MGM does 2x a month, 3x a month sometimes. Those months are when you want to try to go the most if you're looking to maximize your comps. The other thing is, don't play for comps. I play for comps, but I know what I'm doing and I accept the loss. I don't want you guys out there playing for comps, okay? I'm going to tell you how to do it in part 4, but I just don't want you to do it because playing for comps isn't fun. It's a grind for those comps, and we're going to go over that in part 4 more about the grind. And we're going to split that between roulette and slots so we get an idea of both. So you're going to know about a table game grind and you'll know about a slot grind. So the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with is when not to use your card. I know you've heard me say for a number of years, always have your card in, always have your card. And again, that holds true for 99% of the time, except 1% of the time in slots where you're looking to maximize your comps. For instance, I put in $1,000 into a machine. Win or lose, I put in $1,000. Had my card in. You gotta have your card in for those points. Then I walk by some rinky-dink machine I've never seen before. Penny machine, quarter machine, doesn't matter. It could be a quarter machine for double, triple, diamond with cheese, because I love the game and I can always play it. However, I put in $20 in this. I'm going to put my card in. No, I'm not going to put my card in. Why? Because that would lower my coin in average dramatically. It would cut my coin in average nearly in half. I mean, almost exactly in half. So your coin in average of $1,000 is now $500 because you decided to play $20 on some miscellaneous slot machine. You're missing out on those $20 points. You are. I mean, you have to let it go because you're looking up here at that $1,000 coin in time. And that's more important for your comp grind. Okay? So there's the one time you don't use your player's card is if you're going to put $20, $10 into a small little rinky-dink machine and you're not going to sit there and play it with the intensity you usually do. Now, another thing we're going to talk about is why not to grind real quick. So I keep saying grind for comps, grind for comps. Don't grind for comps. It's not fun. It's boring. Remember, we're here to have fun. The casino wants us to have fun. They're going to give you comps regardless, okay? They may be small, they may not be big, but you're still going to get that discounted room rate. You're still going to get some free play. You're still going to get some perks because you came to the casino and gambled that day or that week or that month. Stay within your bankroll, stay within your budget, lose what you can afford to lose. When it's no longer fun, stop. Walk around, look at something, go outside. People watch. People watch is great in Vegas. People watching should be an Olympic event in Vegas. It would just be the best. Like have a scorecard of what you can find. So the one time you don't use your card is when you've already established a high coin in average. Don't use your card because it will lower your coin in average. However, if you're consistently a higher level player, like you consistently put in $100, then you wouldn't worry so much about your coin in average. If you consistently put in $50, don't worry about your coin in average. But if you consistently put in $1,000, that's where you're going to start worrying about your coin in average. So if you start with 1,000 and then you put a 20 in something, you're destroying your coin in average. Okay, so that's the only time. Otherwise, card always. If you don't want to use your card, you let me know. I'll send you my card. I'll send you a stack of cards. I got them all from every casino. I'll send you a whole stack of cards. So next time, part 4, the tips and tricks. We're going to go over my little bits of, they're not cheats. They're just little things you do to maximize your grind for comps, okay? They're all completely legal. It's just little things here and there, especially for roulette. Slots, there's not so many things. There's really only a couple of things, but they're worth noting, especially the tips for high rollers. All right, we'll see you next time. Gamble smart, gamble safe.